Yeah, today we will see the analysis of ourself according to Ayurveda, and a lot of others our scriptures like Veda, Upanishada, and the Yoga Sutra of Patanjali. They had a analysis of ourself, like a state of our self, including all living thing like an animal, bird, insect. We all go through three states of during the day, and in each state we using different body type according to Ayurveda also. So the three state of ourself. So first, when we are awake, we are in a jagrata, a state of awakeness, and we use our body, our sensory system, our mind to interact with the outside world. And we see, we hear, we smell, we taste, we touch with all those five senses and experience the outside world. Then at night, we go to sleep. And in a sleep, initially first, when our sensory system is asleep and our inner mind is still awakened, we switch into the dream state. That's the second state of ourself, called dream state, Swapnavastha. And in a dream state, we use our mental mind. And in a dream state, we have our mental body, we have our mental world, we have a mental object, and we experience the whole world of mental state. And what we experience in a mental state is a different subject, that what does mean by my dream, or what trigger my dream. In a dream is most of the time projected as like a movie projected on the screen. The dream is projected on our mind from the past experience of ourselves. We have some happy event, sad events, some very tragic event happen in our life. And it is go back in our inner mind, called passive mind, and store there in a storehouse. And sometimes it is popped up like a boiling bubbles in a liquid from bottom to top. And when they surface, they come into the active part of our mind, and we see that, we feel that. So in a second state, we just see the dream. And in a dream, we have a dream body, we have a dream object, same as a awakened world, like a physical world. According to our scriptures, there is not much difference between the awakened state and dream state. Like only we feel the dream object is a temporary, and as soon as you wake, the dream object is disappear. Where you keep the pizza in a fridge, in a awakened state, next day when you wake up, you will go and eat that pizza. When you put the pizza in a dream, in your dream today, you cannot go back and eat the same pizza next day or the next day. And after dream is over and our mind is in a sleep mode, our body is sleeping, our mind is going to sleep mode, then we switch into the third state of our human personality, and that's the deep sleep. And in the deep sleep, our physical body and our mind both are sleeping. Only awareness is present there, and there is nothing to no object of awareness, or awareness have no object to experience. There's an absence of experience. That's the sleep of deep sleep. And in each state, we use like enough. When we are awake, we use a physical body with all sensory system, called Sthula Sarira or Annamaya Kos. When we go in a dream state, we use a mental body. That's the body also, but it's a subtle body called mental body or Karana Sarira. And in a Panchakosa Viveka, they explain as a Mana Buddhi Ahankara Chitta, or Pranamaya Kosh, Manomaya Kosh, Vijnanamaya Kosh. And when we go in a deep sleep, we use the causal body. It's called causal body or Karana Sarira. Why it's the causal or Karana Sarira? It's called dream or beach state, seed state also. Like the way in a whole tree go into their be in the seeds. And when you plant the seeds, whole tree come back again. Again, that tree grow back and go back into the seeds. And when you plant the seeds, similarly, when you go in a sleep, everything is collapsed, whole world is collapsed. And as soon as you awaken next morning, everything is come back, like a whole tree come back again. So that's why it's called causal body or Karan Sarir or Bij state. And Bij state in a Panchas course of Viveka called Anandamay course. Anandamay course we applicable. Similarly, as we have a three state of our human personality, similarly, we have a three body. And in a Pancha course, we have also 5 layers of our personality divided into those 3 states. Similarly, we have a 3 level of truth. Truth have a 3 level of higher level, called empirical truth, when we are in a deep sleep mode or seed state, called empirical truth. The lower level than empirical truth is called transactional truth, Vyavaharik Satya. The empirical truth called Paramarthik Satya, transactional truth called Vyavaharik Satya. And lower than the transactional truth is a imaginary truth or Pratibhasik, which we experience in a dream state. So empirical truth, Paramarthik Satya, transactional truth, Vyavaharik Satya, we will see in an awakened world, and empirical truth called Pratibhasik Satya, we experience in a dream state. So what is happened to the things, or why there is a level of the truth? Because the level of truth, what they do, like the lower level of truth is considered as a mithya or false when you switch from lower level to higher level of truth. Like when you are in a dream state, all the dream world, dream object is disappear or consider fake, mithya, when you awaken state, like a transactional world. When you go in an awakened state, transactional state, more Vyavaharik Satya, the dream truth is all collapse or it's a fake. Similarly, what we experience, Vyavaharik Satya, transactional truth, when we awaken and we feel all the object and all the action and reaction of it. When we switch back to empirical truth or Paramarthik Satya, all the truth of transactional world is collapse or called mithya. When we go in a deep sleep or Paramarthik level or level of supreme being level, higher than the transactional or our awakened or Vyavaharik Satya, transactional truth is a truth when we are awakened. But when we go in a deep sleep or when we go in a Paramarthik or level, higher level than the transactional, the truth of transactional world or physical world is mithya, false. And that's why they call Brahma Satya Jagat Mithya. Brahma Satya means God is only truth. Jagat, the world we experience, is unreal or mithya. So when we go from higher level or lower level of truth to the higher level of truth, the lower level of truth is a mithya or fake in the higher level. So when you switch from higher level of truth to the lower level of truth, there's something different happen. What higher level of truth did to the lower level of truth? They land the base or form the base or provide the substance or ground to the lower level of base. Like in a empiric, in a Vyavaharik or transactional truth, what we experience, what we feel when we go in a dream state or imaginary state, we see the more or less same dream which we experience in the transactional or Vyavaharik world. Higher level to the lower level switch, they provide the base. Similarly, from empirical world to the transactional world, the empirical truth of the higher level provide base to the transactional world. So those are the 3 states. We have a 3 body and 3 level of truth. And I'm also going to mention about Vruti Sanskar chakra. Those are the description given for our mind. Our mind is the key object. Our physical body is nothing as like a car or anything, any instrument we use to navigate ourselves or interact with outside world, like a camera or sensory system, like a sensor, and or car to drive ourselves, boat to sail ourselves. Similarly, the physical body is just a instrument or tool, but mind or mental is the main key. And mind can be divided in a mana buddhi ahankar, like a mind, then a intellect, then a ego, and the memory. So you Guru Sri Patanjali in a Vruti Sanskar chakra, like a cycles of our active thought and our passive thought, or our thought and our characteristics. So the way they go, what we think, if we keep think for a little while of something, any thoughts either triggered by the external world or it popped in from the inner mind. If we think little while, it go back in our deeper state of our mind and store there. And when they come back next time, same thought, it comes as a stronger thought. Then if we think of that thought or entertain those thoughts for a little while, it become a more stronger than before and go back into, even though we don't take action of it. So it become like the way it work is what we think. And if we do not erase those thoughts, even though it's a good or bad, it go back into the storehouse and become a stronger. When they come second time, it is more stronger than first time. And if we did like that couple of times, next time when the thought be more likely to take an action on that thought. First 2-3 times we did not take action, we just think of it and just it's go back into the storehouse. Then we take an action. We take an action one time. Then it's action is over. Then second time they come back, we take an action again. So after we are taking 3-4 times or multiple time action on that thought, the thought become a habit. And if we constantly keep doing same thing as a habit, it become our characteristics. So that's how our thought become an action become a habit, and habit become our characteristics. So how to come out from this cycle? And Yoga Guru Sri Patanjali talked very nicely about that when any thought pop up in your mind in a first initial stage, like a 2 to 3 second or up to 5 second, try to remove if the thought is bad or negative. Remove the thought if you can. If you cannot remove the thought, then replace the thought with a good positive thought. So then that thought become a weaker and weaker and weaker, and it become a wipe out from your mind. So this is the way of purifying of our mind. The way of purifying our mind in a devotional path, like a bhakti. You worship the God and your mind is come out of the God. And similarly, if you give your mind to the God, the mind become a purified. The way the charcoal came out of the fire. And if you want to wash them to change the color, you're not going to change the color of charcoal. But if you want to change the color of charcoal, you just throw them in a fire, it become a red and the color of charcoal get changed. Similarly, we want to purify our mind or change the color of our mind. Mind is come from the God. So we give it to the God, and that's the path. It become a purified, and that's the way of devotion. But according to the Patanjali, in a way of Raj Yoga or meditation or Jnana Yoga or Karma Yoga, other path devotion, yoga, bhakti, beside the bhakti path, you have to constantly try to purify your mind by good action, doing a karma yoga, or by reading a good thought, watching good thought, reading good thought, studying good thought in a Jnana Yoga, or replacing the negative thought, bad thought with a good thought in a meditation by doing a Raj Yoga. That's the way of purifying of our mind. So initial stage, when thought come in a surface of your mind, you just erase it or replace with a positive thought. I'll give you an example. Let's say I feel like drinking a beer. It's too hot outside and it's a very hot and cold chilled beer make me feel happy. So I want to feel happy. So no. Then I think that, oh, it's not nice for my organ, kidney will be no good and it's not nice. So just don't drink it. Okay. But I still think of that thought for a while and then it goes into the storehouse. Next time when the thought comes, it's a very hot, can I have a beer? It's become stronger than the first time. Still I think of it and then my mind is stronger. So I just suppress the thought, or it go back into the storehouse again, third time, fourth time, five time. If the thought keep popping in my mind and I don't do anything but the entertain part, then one point in time I start open up the beer and start drinking it. I drink one day, next day is a very hot. Oh, I drink yesterday, it's feel good. Okay, let me drink second time. So first couple of time I did not take action. After I take an action, and after certain time I drink a beer, it become a habit. Then, oh, even though it's a hot or not, as soon as thought pop in my mind, now it's a nice correct time. So let's go and have a beer. So it's become a habit. And then habit become my characteristics. That's just an example for one thing, but it's the same thing happens for anything and everything in our mind. So the good part, according to our scriptures, is as soon as negative thought or bad thought pop up in your mind, either remove the thought from your mind or replace with a good thought, positive thought, in order to purify your mind. So you end up, and all the negativity in your mind is go away or wiped out from your mind, and all the positive thought stored in your mind, and it become like a, according to Vruti Sanskar chakra, when we sit down, like a thought popping in our mind is like a crazy. Even when you are looking outside and using sensory system, you can see an outside object trigger your thought. But when you close your eyes and sit down in meditation, you have a negative thought popping in your mind, some good thought, some very, very ugly thought or very vulgar thought come in your mind. It is coming out from the storehouse of your thought, like in a bubble coming out when you boil the liquid, and bubble coming out of bottom and pop in the top. The thought come into the surface of our mind, and according to the science, in a 24-hour, we think 16,000 thought in a day, 24-hour. It may same thought we are repeating over and over, but 16,000 thought, that's what they say. So to stop those thought, we have to erase them. That's the way according to the Yoga Rishi Patanjali. And then Ved Vyas, when Ved Vyas come during the time of Mahabharata, after Rishi Patanjali, Ved Vyas wrote also comments or called simplified version of Vruti Sanskar chakra called Bhasya on Rishi Patanjali's work of Vruti Sanskar chakra. In my screen, you can see the table analysis of Ayurvedic and SIM as a Patanjali in a yoga, the different state of mind and tables. State of mind is avastha, jagrat, swapna, and susupti. And then in a jagrat avastha, we use physical body. In awakened state, in a dream state, we use a mental body. In a deep sleep, we are using causal body. In a deep sleep, the level of truth is a empirical truth, paramarthik satya. In an awakened state, it's the highest. Paramarthik satya is the highest empirical truth. The lower than that is in an awakened state we use is a truth called vyavaharik satya or transactional truth. And in a dream state is a lower state of the than the transactional truth. is called imaginary truth, and imaginary truth called pratibhasik satya. And in the bottom also, it's talked about Vruti Sanskar chakra in Gujarati. Some people may not understand, but it's the Yoga Guru Patanjali's work. And if you don't purge the thought, it gets stronger and stronger and go into our storehouse. And after a while, we start taking action on it, and action become a habit, and habit become a characteristics. So those are the some table you may just want to use it.